Extra starts us off with a tapped Death Cab Glade. Tom plays a forest and an Elvish Mystic. John plays an island. Sam plays a tapped Rogrin Trial. Starting the second turn cycle, Extra plays a Plains and casts his commander, Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit. Tom plays a forest and taps out for his commander, Legolas, Master Archer. End of turn, John casts an Opt before going to his turn. John plays a command tower and passes. Sam plays a forest and a Bloom Tender, eagerly awaiting his Aragorn. He passes to Extra. Extra plays a forest and then casts his other commander, Sam, Loyal Attendant. He goes to combat, triggering Sam and making a food. He swings Frodo at Sam, the player of course, for 1, and passes. Tom plays a forest and 2 creatures, Kami of Whispered Hopes, followed by an Ulvenwald Tracker. He passes to John. John plays an island and casts his first Nazgul. It triggers, the ring tempts John, and he puts a 1/1 counter and the ring on his Nazgul. He then passes to Sam. Sam plays a Glacial Fortress, and then Cad Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. The turn then moves back to Extra. Extra plays a Plains and an Arcane Signet, followed by an Academy Manufacturer. He goes to combat, triggering Sam, making a food, treasure, and a clue thanks to Manufacturer. He declares no attackers, and passes to Tom. Tom plays a forest for turn, and casts Nature's Way, targeting his Legolas and John's Nazgul. Legolas triggers, getting 2 +1/+1 counters thanks to Kami of Whispered Hopes, and Tom has him target Sam's Bloom Tender. He also activates his Ulvenwald Tracker, making Legolas fight the Academy Manufacturer. Clearing all 3 creatures, Tom then swings his commander at John for good measure. He then passes to John. John plays a tapped Watery Grave, then casts another Nazgul. The ring tempts him again, and the Nazgul becomes the ring bearer, also getting a 1/1 counter. Feeling like he's falling a bit behind, John passes to Sam. Sam plays a Sea of Clouds, and taps out for his commander, Aragorn. He also swings Jetmir at Extra for 5, before passing the turn. Extra casts a Stronghold Arena, kicked once, gaining 3 life. He moves to combat, triggering Sam and making a food. He swings Frodo at Sam, the player, triggering Frodo and making him the ring bearer. Sam declares no blocks, and Stronghold Arena triggers. Extra flips a forest off the top and plays it as his land for turn. He then passes. Tom plays a forest and passes, keeping his interaction open. John plays an island for turn, followed by another Nazgul. The ring tempts him for the 3rd time, and he doesn't reselect the ring bearer. Both Nazguls trigger, though Extra only remembered to put a 1/1 counter for one of them. He swings his ring bearer Nazgul at Extra for 3. On Extra's end step, Tom casts Master's Rebuke, targeting Legolas and John's ring bearer Nazgul. Legolas triggers, getting 2 more +1/+1 counters, and dealing 5 damage to Aragorn. John then casts Go for the Throat, targeting Legolas, and Tom responds by activating his tracker to have Legolas fight Sam's Loyal Attendant. But Extra doesn't really want to see that happen, so he responds with a generous gift, also targeting Legolas. The stack resolves, Legolas dies, and Tom gets a 3/3 elephant. Finally, the turn moves to Sam. Sam plays a tapped Jetmir's Garden, then casts Kit Kanto, Mayhem Diva, making a 1/1 citizen. He swings Jetmir at Extra for 6, then passes. Extra plays a forest and a Nykthos Paragon. He sacks the food, gaining 3 and triggering Paragon, putting 3 1/1 counters on each of his creatures. He moves to combat, and Sam triggers, making a food. Extra swings at Tom for 9, triggering Frodo and drawing in the process. Tom declares no blocks, and Extra gets a creeping Bloodsucker off Stronghold Arena into his hand. He passes to Tom. Tom plays a forest, and recasts Legolas. While Extra sacks a food in response, triggering Nykthos Paragon. Tom then passes. John casts his own commander, Lord of the Nazgul. He moves to combat, and Kit Kanto triggers, with Sam having her goad the Ring Bearer Nazgul. John swings his goaded Nazgul at Extra for 5, drawing and discarding off the ring's trigger, before passing the turn to Sam. Sam's only play for the turn is a Dreamroot Cascade and recasting his commander. He passes back to Extra. Extra plays the Creeping Bloodsucker he got last turn. He also plays Call of the Ring. He then sacks a food, gaining 3, and triggering Paragon. He goes to combat, making a food with Sam, and Sam the player has Kit Kanto target the Paragon. Seeing how out of control it's already gotten, Extra swings the now 15-15 Paragon at Tom, and his commander duo at Sam for a total of 21 damage. Frodo triggers, drawing a card, and looting off the ring, while choosing Frodo as his ring bearer again. Thanks to this, Extra also pays 2 life to draw a card off Call of the Ring. The damage goes through, and he gets a Peregrine Toque and the Beast Within off Stronghold Arena. He finishes his turn with the Caves of Kolos. Tom starts his turn by playing a forest, then casts Bounty of the Hunt, targeting Legolas, his Kami, and a Nazgul. Legolas triggers, getting 2 +1/+1 counters, and targets a Nazgul. Following this, Tom casts Return of the Wild Speaker, drawing 4 thanks to Legolas' power. At the end of turn, Extra sacks a food, triggering Paragon. The turn then moves to John. John attacks Extra with his Nazgul and their Lord. The ring triggers, and he draws and discards. He plays an island for turn. He also plays Irenicus' Vile Duplication, targeting his commander. Lord of the Thunder triggers, making a 3/3 Wraith. At the end of turn, Extra sacrifices another food. With the life gain on the stack, however, John responds with a Resculpt, targeting the Paragon. Both of his lords trigger, and John gets 2 more Wraiths. The Paragon finally says goodbye, Extra makes a 4/4 Elemental, and Sam moves to his turn. Sam plays Ginny Faye, Jetmir's second, triggering Aragorn, dealing 3 to Extra, making a 1/1 soldier, and pumping Aragorn for 4. He casts Broker's Charm, triggering Aragorn, scrying 2, pumping Aragorn, and making a 2/2 cat thanks to Ginny. Then having Aragorn deal damage equal to its power to Frodo. He goes to combat, triggering Kit and pumping Aragorn by an additional 2. He swings everything but Kit and Extra, who blocks the cat with his token and Jetmir with his Bloodsucker. This isn't enough, however, and Extra is taken out to the relief of the table. Tom then moves to his turn, playing a forest and a Great Bow Doyen. He casts Bushwhack, targeting Legolas and one of Jaw's Nazgul lords. Legolas triggers, getting 2 +1/+1 counters and targeting the Lord of Nazgul copy. Both Nazgul die, and Doyen triggers twice, making Legolas deal 6 damage twice to John directly. On his combat, Sam has Kit's trigger go on Legolas, and Tom is forced to swing Legolas at John for 8. He then passes. John ponders, then casts another Nazgul, getting tempted and targeting the same Nazgul. All of the Nazgul trigger, though John again only puts a 1/1 counter on each of them. He then attacks Sam with his tempted Nazgul and sends 8 more damage at Tom. The ring triggers, letting John loot. Tom blocks a Wraith with his Beast and Elvish Mystic. The rest connects, and the ring triggers, making all opponents lose 3 life. John then casts Preordain in the second main, then plays a Drowned Catacomb. On his end step, Tom activates his tracker, making Legolas fight Aragorn. Aragorn dies, and the Doyen triggers, dealing 6 to Sam. Sam plays a tapped Sparus Headquarters, then casts Rien, Angel of Rebirth. Sensing his doom, he passes to Tom. Tom plays a forest, then targets Legolas with Keen Sense. Legolas triggers, getting 2 +1/+1 counters. On Tom's combat, Sam goes Legolas with Kit. Tom swings Legolas at John, who blocks with a Nazgul, In response, Tom activates Tracker, having Legolas fight Rien. Doyen triggers, dealing a whopping 10 to Sam and killing him. Keen Sense also triggers, and Tom draws. John plays a Teferi's Ageless Insight, followed by a Frantic Search, and a Shipwreck March. Tom then decides to mess with his Nazgul by targeting it with Beast with it. John swings at Tom for 8s into retaliation, before passing to the final turn. Tom plays a Forest, then immediately goes to combat, swinging both the Doyen and the Kami at John, who blocks the Kami with his Beast. In response, Tom casts Invigorate on the Doyen, then activates the Tracker, having the Doyen fight the Beast, triggering itself and dealing 6 to John, finally killing him.